Jesus reinstated Peter and instructed him on how to demonstrate his love by taking care of the flock. Here in the prayer of Christ's crucifixion was shown to be affirmed. He prayed for the preservation of Peter's faith and then called Peter back into relationship after the resurrection. Our faithfulness to God can be demonstrated as much through a willingness to return to relationship in the face of our own shameful behavior as through unwavering resolve. You can show faithfulness by having the humility to go back and face what you did every bit as much as you can by never having made a mistake to begin with.
Yeah.
It's much easier to be faithful to a relationship when I'm always well behaved. I got no problem being in a relationship with Mama as long as I'm doing everything Mama says. Is when she catches me acting up, and I got to figure out, how do I get into the house without getting caught? Or am I going to go try to stay over a friend's house? Or how do I find it in myself to confess to it rather than having to get trapped and punished? It's easy to be in a relationship with somebody when you're always doing something right. When I'm always doing what my wife wants me to do, it's easy for me to come and deal with her. It's when I done did something stupid and I know she's mad at me and I got to go home. That's when relationship gets complicated, but that's when faithfulness is shown every bit as much as never making a mistake. Mm-hmm. His faith was preserved. Consider the teachings of the Pharisee, the illustration of the Pharisee and the publican. The prayer of the religious, the church folk was, God, I thank God I'm not a sinner like the publican. The prayer of the publican was, the sinner was, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. And God heard the prayer of the one who was asking for mercy because they made a mistake, more than the one who acted like I never did anything wrong. Despite being disloyal, shameful, and discounted as a disciple, Peter still loved Jesus enough to come back when he called him. Mm-hmm. Now, we talk, we deal with embarrassment. We've talked, they got honor and shame. I have just shamed my master, shamed my disciple. Realistically, he has every right to put me away and nobody else will ever touch me as a student again. But instead, he calls me back and I love him enough that I am going to submit to having to face this, to face what I messed up and what I did and remain faithful to the relationship. Remember, faith was not just about intellectual inconsistency. It was about action. And I'm going back because Jesus has called me back. I'm going to be faithful to my love for God despite the fact that I made a mistake. I'm coming back because he has called me back, because he prayed that my faith would not fail. Thank God that he knows us and is faithful to us when we're not always faithful to him, and that he does not discount our faith because we make a mistake. God knows the difference between someone who is overwhelmed and falters like Peter and someone who just wants what they want like Judas. We talked before about which one was the worst betrayal. Judas just wanted things to go his way. Peter was overwhelmed, and God knows the difference. The rules of performance-based relationships say they both failed. Neither of them deserved to be disciples. The law of grace says that one was a failure of strength and the other was a failure of character. One will be preserved and called back to relationship, and the other one is going to be allowed to hang himself. Mm-hmm. Thank God he knows the difference between those who just want to do what they want to do, who would dictate the terms of their relationship to God, and someone who is struggling to understand the mysteries of God. God sees and knows the difference between I'm going to just do what I want to do and I just don't understand. Mm-hmm. He sees and knows the difference and does not discount you as faithful because you struggle and trip and fall. But says, I know their heart, I know their passion, I know what they're trying to do, I know that they don't understand it and don't get it, so we'll put them back through it. But their faith hasn't failed, they're not faithless, they're not unspiritual. I'm not tossing them out just because they made a mistake, but I'm going to call them back despite the fact that their actions give me every reason to toss them out. Satan says all stand accused and are guilty. Grace says justification is freely given by the sacrifice of the Son and can be restored, and restoration is available if they respond to the call. It's not always our success or failure in the moment that demonstrates our faith. Sometimes it demonstrates our resolve, sometimes it demonstrates our knowledge, but our faith is also demonstrated in what happens after. You have the test, you have the moment. Sometimes you pass with flying colors and then end up dropping the ball later on. Sometimes you drop the ball right then. The question is, do you get back up and keep moving?
Right.
We fall down, but We get up. I failed, but my faith, my relationship, my faithfulness remains unchanged. It doesn't matter how badly you mess up and how big of a problem it is. If you are willing to get back up and come back to God when He calls you, He considers your faith as having been preserved.
Yes.
The reason some of us have made our way to the other side of the catastrophe or tragedy isn't because we were so good, so strong, so devoted, but because somebody prayed that our faith wasn't going to fail, and after we acted a fool in the moment, Christ preserved our faith and restored us. I didn't get to be where I am without having done some stuff that absolutely justified Christ saying, I don't know Him, don't come back to me, don't talk to me. But somebody prayed that my faith would not fail, and God heard that prayer and said, after you get on the other side, I'm going to let you come back. I know you lost it for the moment. I know you got sidetracked, but when it's done, I'm going to bring you back in.
Yes.
I'm going to call you back in because somebody prayed.
Yes.
Somebody's mother, somebody's father, some son, daughter, brother, sister, pastor, or preacher prayed that after the storm passed, after the crisis averted, life begins anew and they can be restored if they are faithful in their love for God. Yeah. Satan would have you believe, I have messed up so badly, I can't go back there. I can't go back to church because I cussed somebody out. I got drunk. I did something stupid. I can't go confront the pastor. I got to get it straight. No, Jesus, just come back. You're messed up, but I'm not going to count you as one without faith. When I call you back, come on back.
Yes.
I know it's been a bad 4 days. I know this week drove you nuts and you got out of sorts, but when I call you back,
yes,
come back.